So, Rachel, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Excited for things to come.
Oh, yes, we'll get onto that later, but let's just to know you a bit first. So, you're on top three of the first season of The Voice. How has your life changed since then?
Yes, that's right. I was. It just feels like it was such a long time ago, but I can remember it so clearly. So 2012, 7 years. It's just been a huge roller coaster ever since then. I was just out of year 12 and
Mm-hmm.
taking a gap year to see how far I could go in music because I didn't want to look back and see any regrets or anything. It was
Yeah.
something that I loved to do, but wasn't sure if I could do a career in music because there's so many talented people out there. But I knew that I loved it. So when I heard blind auditions, I thought, this has got to be the show for me because, I'm legally blind. So,
That's great.
um,
That's just, yeah, good thinking on that. Yeah, that's good.
yeah, so it was perfect. And I'd auditioned for a couple of shows before that
Mm-hmm.
and not got anywhere. So I didn't have any expectations and just, kept getting through and ended up coming third.
Wow.
And then it was just go, go, go since then. I've been doing albums and tours and corporate gigs, carols, all
Yeah.
sorts of events, charity things since then. And it's always been so busy. So I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah, so it's a good idea taking a gap year. So would you recommend people taking a gap year and, doing what you did and experiment with any talents they have and put it into the world and see where it leads?
I would recommend people do whatever they think is right for them.
Yeah.
I think it was good for me to take that gap year because I was going to go and do a Bachelor of Speech Pathology,
Mm-hmm.
which I did do for 6 months in 2014 because I couldn't defer anymore.
Yep.
But I realised that music is my calling and what I
Yeah.
was meant to do. But, someone else might want to go straight into med school and I wouldn't want to hold them back from that. Everyone has their own path to follow and you just got to listen to what's in your heart and what you feel like is right.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned before, you've had four studio albums released since The Voice. So what were some inspirations behind them? Because I see one of them is very Beatles inspired, and I had listened to it
Mm-hmm.
before, and it was really nice. It was nice and
Oh,
it was nice and relaxing.
thank you. Oh,
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah,
yeah.
no, I love the Beatles. That was one of them. Romantique was very orchestral, kind of inspired, but pop songs. So a few covers. There's a couple of songs I wrote on there. Shooting Star was all the songs from The Voice,
Yep.
plus a couple of others. And what would have been my winner single is on there if I had won.
Oh yeah.
And Shadows, my most recent one, is a lot of original work. So I've finally got to show a bit of my songwriting. There's a few covers on there, including one that I turned on its head, Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. So that sounds completely different. And now I'm just about to release a Christmas album, Together for Christmas.
Yes, that's very exciting. But first things first, so you're going on tour with your show Colors of My Life. So it's a really interesting name. I really like that. So what's the show about and what will audiences expect?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of like a biographical cabaret show. So I do a bit of talking. I talk about from the very beginning. I start with how I was diagnosed as a baby with retinitis pigmentosa and living legally blind. And I start with this because I want to show everyone that everyone has their obstacles in life to get through. I'm not the only one, and mine's sure not the biggest. So you can still live a very fulfilling and happy life. And I talk about that, following that, how my condition has progressed, but, pushing that aside and getting on with it.
Oh, that's really inspiring. I really like that. It's so cool.
I hope so. I sing some songs that have inspired me as well, so it's not just
Yeah.
about that, but songs and videos and photos. I even do a set of impersonations of
Oh,
people, because I drew a lot of techniques from different singers, and I used to love imitating people.
so
So I just want to pay tribute to them.
who in that case who will you be impersonating in that?
There's a lot of old sort of classic singers like Judy Garland, Shirley Bassey, Marilyn Monroe, even Tom Jones.
Okay.
Much sniggering in the audience.
Nice.
But that's probably my favourite part of the show, just personally, because it's so much fun. And a secret special guest who's coming with me.
Oh, oh.
Yeah,
So you're
a bit of
coming.
mystery.
Oh, I
I
love
also
that.
talk about, there's so much in the show. I also talk about behind the scenes stuff of the voice, so you get a
Oh,
bit of insight into that process and all the little tips and tricks that happen in TV.
oh, nice. So lots of secrets in this show. You'd be spilling.
Oh, yeah, yeah, there's all sorts of things they do to make
Nice.
TV work.
Cool. But you're coming to Brisbane on the 11th of October with this show. Do you know whereabouts you'll be performing for that?
Yeah, so Metro Arts, just in the city, in the Lumen Room. So I
Yeah.
think it was an old cinema. I haven't been there personally myself, but it looks really cool from the photos. I get to show the videos and photos on that big screen, and
Nice.
people can sit comfortably, maybe with a glass of wine,
Nice. Yeah,
and
I
have a
think I
good
know.
show.
Yeah, I think I know whereabouts where it is because I looked it up on maps. I think it's kind of near QUT, kind of in a way. It's like a walk up the
Ah,
street
okay.
from there. So it's that older part of Brisbane. So it's very nice there. So I think you'll
Mm.
enjoy it there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I will. I was at the old museum in Fortitude Valley a couple of years ago
Oh
and
yeah.
loved it there as well. So, yeah, I always love Brisbane when I go there, and I don't go there often enough, I don't think.
Oh yeah, you should come here more often. We're pretty cool here.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I love Brisbane. My uncle lives on the Gold Coast, so
Oh, that's
up in
nice.
Queensland. Comes to
Nice.
Brisbane every now and then.
Awesome. So as you mentioned before, you have a new Christmas themed album coming out soon.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
I also hear is featuring a few different languages that you can sing, which is
yeah.
really cool. I can't barely speak English myself, but that's cool
Me
too.
too.
So, but will the audiences of Colors of My Life get a sneak peek of some of these Christmas songs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I really want to get everyone's feedback on it and see what they think. So
Nice.
the official release date is the 25th of October. So if you wanted to go to JB Hi-Fi or Sanity or my website and get one of those, you can. Otherwise, come see me at the show on the 12th. Well, hang on, the 11th. Oh gosh, I can't remember where I am
That's
sometimes. The
okay.
11th of October
Yeah.
at Metro Arts, and I'll give you a copy and sign it for you and
Oh, nice.
um, see what you think of it. Yeah.
That's lovely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. Looking forward to coming to visit Brisbane.